Hi, my name is Adam Tuliper. Welcome to GDC. This is an exciting week. We have lots of very exciting interviews that we're going to be doing this week across mixed reality, across game development. You name it, we're going to be talking to folks here. All the interviews we're going to be doing here live at GDC are going to be posted online afterwards. You can stop by our booth and join us for some of this as well. I think we have some exciting times coming ahead. So I look forward to seeing you all this week. Today, I'm here with Brendan Vanous from PlayFab. There's been some recent exciting news that has happened with PlayFab.
Yes.
I was excited to hear this. So back in January or so, there was an acquisition that happened and PlayFab is joining Microsoft. So can you talk about what is PlayFab? What makes up PlayFab? What's exciting about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So PlayFab is effectively a complete backend for video games. It's everything that's fundamental to the needs of game developers in the cloud. So you've got authentication systems, you've got data systems, catalogs of goods, in-app purchasing, receipt validation, and then layered on top of all of the what you might think of as the fundamental components, we've got what we call PlayStream, which is all the event data coming in for your game, coming in real time. The events are coming from clients, from servers, from third-party integrations, and it's sort of, if you think of the modern serverless computing model, it's all of this event data flows in, and then there's consumers on the stream that are there to be able to enable a wide range of LiveOps capabilities, so that games can, re-engage with their players and, make the game experience new and fresh all the time.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. You mentioned the term LiveOps, and so this is a term that you're starting to hear more of now in game development and game operations. What exactly is LiveOps?
So LiveOps, it's short for live game operations, and it's everything that you do with your game that's not like, it's not about new features. It's more about the things that you do that are there to make the experience continuously updated and fresh and personalized. So in part, it's things like, in-game events, like, hey, we just had a bunch of games do St. Patrick's Day events, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, there was a special St. Patrick's Day, and maybe there were new costumes that were available for that, things that you can only get during that brief window of time. So it really incentivizes players to jump in and be part of the experience during that window of opportunity. But it's also about focusing on the different ways that people play games. So user segmentation is a common term that you'll hear of in live game operations. And it's all about finding all the different ways that people engage with the games, categorizing them, and then using all the different segments that a player is part of in order to personalize the experiences as much as possible for them. And the goal, the big goal that we talk about is getting to the segment of one, which is being able to...
Segment of one?
Yeah,
What's
it's being able to say that I have identified enough things about you that I can treat you as an individual player. There might not be another player in the entire game that plays the game the same way that you do. That's pretty high-reaching blue sky kind of goal. But that is the idea.
And so then you can tailor the experience for that particular type of user,
right?
That single user.
So a simple example of that would be like we have store systems, right? You have catalog goods, and then for the catalog you have a set of stores. And each of the stores is a different way to represent some set of items. And so what you can do is you can change which stores you're showing to players based upon what user segments they're in. So the comparison is to like the concept of a grocery store. The grocery store has like an eye line. The eye line is where they put the products that they make their most profit on because that's what they want to sell through the most. But in the case of players, different players want to see different things. Like a player who never really purchases much, he probably wants to see just a couple 99-cent items. Whereas somebody who spends a lot of money in games, frankly, doesn't want to see your 99-cent items. They want to see that $99 thing that has 1,000,000 gold and the Sword of Doom. Because that's what he's looking for.
Users, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So tailoring the experience for that user to maximize their engagement.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you have in-app purchases, kind of pull a little bit more of that out of them for that particular user type. Some might be into that, some might not. Interesting. Now, as part of the Microsoft acquisition, take a step back. I'm a developer. I love development technologies, and I think one of the things that we try to focus on at Microsoft is really supporting developers anywhere, regardless of your platform.
Yes.
We want to support developers on iOS. We want to support developer on Android. We want to support developers if you're developing on the Switch. So, as part of this acquisition, will you be dropping any of your platforms?
No, absolutely not. We've worked closely with our partners at the various platforms to make sure that we will continue to support them in the same way that we have to date. Because frankly, we want to be there for all games, all platforms. We are, platform agnostic.
That's good.
And we just want to be the thing that you're able to use to drive those experiences regardless of where you are and where your players are.
That's great. Whatever tools, whatever development technologies, you want to support them wherever we are. So we are aligned in that vision, which is amazing. Right, developers, it's great. Now, also as an indie developer myself, for me, things that mattered a lot were free tiers of products.
Oh yeah.
And so, will you be keeping your free tier?
Definitely, yeah. The free tier is really important to us. I mean, when you look at the games industry in general, you've got a range of different developers.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, in order to have a healthy, game development environment across the global scope, you need to support indie developers. Indie developers are where you're going to get some of your craziest, freshest new ideas.
Absolutely.
And some of the most interesting new developments in gameplay, right, and gameplay models. So yeah, we really want to encourage indie developers, and so we will always be keeping our free tier. We're doing what we can to expand the capabilities of it as much as possible. Obviously, we got to control costs a little bit,
Absolutely.
but it's always going to be there so that developers will be able to get their games to market and not have to worry about, oh my God, my game got featured on this really popular site. Now I've got 1 million users. How do I pay for this? We don't want to have people to have to worry about that.
That's good. Well, so speaking of tiers, you have a free tier. Can you walk through me so what the other tiers are involved?
Sure, yeah. So in addition to the free tier, we actually also have an indie tier, which is specifically for small indie companies that they need a little bit more than they can get in the free tier. The free tier, I mean, it's a little limited in terms of the resource availability, but it's not limited in terms of the number of users. I need to be clear about that. No tier is limited in the number of users. But yeah, in the indie tier, it gets them some higher limits. It still doesn't provide the same, like private support, for example, that the professional tier does, but it gets them a little bit more resource capability. The professional tier then is for companies that are established, they've already had some hit titles, and that's where we introduce a MAU-based, so per MAU, monthly active user, is the way we do pricing on that. We keep those prices as low as we possibly can. We're always looking for ways to optimize. But in the pro tier, that's where we then have, private support. We have a service level agreement, things like that. And of course, our largest customers, we have an enterprise tier, which is really, that's more of a sort of a custom relationship between us and our biggest customers.
So is it really based on all MAUs? I've heard that term a lot lately. Is it all based on MAUs then, the monthly active users?
The core service is all MAU based, yes. When you talk about the professional tier.
Yeah.
But in addition to the core service, we have a few things that are usage-based costs, which is really, it's dedicated server hosting, it's CDN usage, and of course we have a whole add-on marketplace of third-party technologies that we've pre-integrated into PlayFab so that we make those available to developers.
Oh, that's really
cool. A lot of those are free. I mean, all of the iOS and Android and all of those platforms are free. But there's a few where there's some charge from the third party, like Kochava, for example.
Now, at Microsoft, we've been pretty focused over the years on Windows and Xbox. Now we try to enable developers anywhere.
Yes.
What assurances do developers have that are currently on PlayFab that the support for them is going to stick around, that PlayFab is going to stay around?
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest, I hear that from a lot of people. But fundamentally, if you look at the game market and you look at the addressable space in the market, you can see that it's, there's console, there's Steam, there's HTML5 web games, there's mobile games. It's all part of the total economy space of games.
Yeah.
Microsoft is clearly committed to being across all of it. I mean, if you look at the blog posts by Kareem Chaudhry, our executive vice president, by Phil Spencer, our EVP, excuse me, and even all the way up to Satya Nadella. Look at the quarterly business reports, right? They're all calling out the same thing, that games is now a fundamental pillar of Microsoft.
Absolutely.
So previously it was part of the Windows organization, but now Phil reports directly to Satya.
Yeah.
So there's a level of investment there that makes it clear that Microsoft is all in on this.
So again, as a developer and loving game dev technologies, being part of Microsoft, I can't tell you, I'm super excited to see the engagement that we've had in gaming platforms, kind of this new game pillar that's been focused and the resources assigned to it is super exciting. Now, from a game standpoint, any exciting games that you guys have seen lately that use some really neat services, really neat integration? I've heard Fluffy Fairy, for example, we're going to be interviewing later on this week as well.
Yep.
And maybe talk about some of the services they've used on PlayFab.
Yeah, that's the one I would have pointed to because so the Fluffy Fairy guys are going to be doing a talk here at GDC this afternoon. specifically about their LiveOps strategy that they've used for their game and how they've developed it. Now that game was put together in 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Yeah, 8
That's
weeks.
Amazing.
They did this.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's like a game jam, right? They did a little like rapid approach to getting the game out into market, put it on iOS and Android, and then just really organically grew their user base and took a lot of feedback from their users and developed the game, tweaked and tuned it, and then introduced their LiveOps program. And so as part of this, what they're using us for, they're using PlayFab for specifically, is obviously authentication and data systems for the players, being able to have the data that you save so that you can save the game on one device and move to another device and continue your game. But also, the in-app purchasing, the analytics of the data coming in for the player, using user segmentation, all kinds of things, right?
Wow.
And it's all it all comes together where they're using, the fundamental components of the service, and then also the LiveOps layer in order to, constantly re-engage their players and make their game more and more popular. And you'll see a lot of details about that today in their talk.
That is absolutely amazing. Wow, that's a lot of services. And to think how easy that it makes it for development, right? Again, having developed things over the years. As developers, we like to create things, but sometimes if it already exists, it makes sense to use it, right? Things that have been tested and developed. And so the fact that we can take these services integrated and make it easy is amazing. How do developers get started?
How do they get started?
Yep.
It's easy. They can just come to developer.playfab.com, create an account. They automatically, that means they've got a studio, they can create titles, they can start development. I mean, I'll be honest, when you first create a title, you're in our free tier automatically. We've actually had people who create their games and then get them out to market and they start having customers, their games are live, and we didn't even know they were there because they'd never spoke to us, they never posted anything to our forums to ask for any help. They just got their game out there and running.
Wow.
So it's
That's
been
amazing.
fantastic.
So over at our booth, there's actually 2 things you guys have over here, right? The PlayFab Definitive Guide to LiveOps. So if you happen to be at GDC, come on by, check this out. Brendan, I'm going to ask you in closing here, and it might be trying to choose the favorite amongst your children. Do you have any favorite service or favorite services?
I'm going to have to go with PlayStream because I mean the PlayStream is the thing that powers the most. To me, what's the most exciting technology that we have, the thing that drives all the LiveOps, is all these events and being able to hook into it and do everything with it. You can set up rules where, if an event comes in and it's got certain parameters, you fire things off.
What kind of event when you say event?
I'm sorry?
When you say event, what kind of event?
Oh, it's anything that happens in the game. So when you look at all of our core technology, logins and purchases and things like that, all of those things automatically generate events into the PlayStream. And it's got all the data about it. So a login event, for example, has the IP address, it has geolocation of the user, and you can use all of that to then, again, like I say, drive user segmentation or any kind of rule system that you want to set up to it. It's really, that's the thing. It's wide open to however you want to use it. So in some ways, it's like we have a lot of best practices in the LiveOps book and a lot of things that we advise people to do, and we like to see people use it. Because they're proven techniques that help to make your games more successful. But also, I mean, I don't want to limit people because it's green field. You can do whatever you want with this. And I want to see the kinds of interesting things that people are going to use this technology to do that I didn't even think of. Because that's part of what really excites me about being in this industry in general.
I didn't think of that scenario. That's amazing. Yeah. Now, is this available online as well, or do you have to stop by here to get it? That
will be available after GDC. We didn't want to, steal our own thunder.
Yeah.
So we're giving it out here at GDC. So the folks here will be the first ones to get a hold of it, able to read through it. Starting next week, we're going to be sending it out. We've invited people through our newsletter to write to us and let us know if you guys want to get a copy of it. You could write us at Devrel. It's DEVREL at playfab.com. And just let us know you want a copy of it. We'll send out e-copies next week, and we'll be making it available on our site not long after that as well.
Awesome. Well, Brendan, this has been super exciting, and thank you very much for joining us. And I'll be excited to see what you guys have going forward. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you.